Good Tuesday morning to you. AARP Alabama. I am Margie Curry, your host. And today we are here with our favorite certified yoga instructor, Becca Impello, who has been teaching and practicing yoga for more than 20 years. You know, AARP empowers people to stay engaged from their homes and to choose how they live as they age. AARP is a nonpartisan 501c4 organization that has over 420,000 members in Alabama alone. AARP's role is to advocate for those 50 plus and their families. AARP continues to stay committed to offering opportunities for you to stay engaged from your home. The Mindful Movement series provides an opportunity for you to keep moving in the safety of your own home. Hey, Becca. Hey, how are you today?
Hey, Margie, I'm doing pretty well. I hope you're doing okay as we
Doing pretty good.
moving into summer, aren't we?
Aren't we? Moving fast into summer.
That's
Moving
right.
fast. What do you have for us today, Becca?
Well, Margie, I thought sort of in honor of summertime, we're here in the month of June, which is where the summer solstice is, where we get the longest day of the year, and we're really
Oh, yeah.
long summer days. And whether you love the sun or the heat or summer or you don't particularly like it, we all got to get through it, right? So
Right.
one of the things that yoga as a practice helps us with is, just kind of being with what is, right? Whether we like it or don't like it, that's not what we're about, but we're about like, how can I be in this moment as best as I can? So I thought today, in honor of the summer sun, that we would do our sun salutation series. So it's a
Okay.
full body, exercise routine, and it's sort of
Uh-huh.
from the classic traditional yoga lexicon. So that's what we're going to practice today is sun salutations.
All right. Sounds good. Sound good. All right. Well, remember, everybody, before you begin any exercise routine, that you make sure that you check with your physician to see if it's okay for you to participate. We don't want you to hurt yourself at all. All right, then, Becca, take it away.
All right. And just to piggyback on what Margie just said, we, of course, want you to stay safe. We want you to get benefit from this program. You're the best advocate for yourself in this instance. And so if something doesn't seem right, then you can skip it. I'm going to be giving you at least 3 different, kind of options for how you might do that sun salutation. So I think you'll be able to find one that works for you. We're going to start with a little bit of a grounding breath practice and a little bit of a warm up seated here in the chair. And then once we stand up to do our sun salutations, you're going to have the option to do your sun salutation at a wall, on the chair, or on the floor, right? So you're going to have some choices kind of, maybe you can think about them being, a little more challenging to get all the way down to the floor, a little less load, say on things like your wrist and your shoulders, if you choose to do it on the wall. All right, but let's sit tall for a moment, get those feet flat on the floor if possible. Now I'm barefoot, that's just my mode of operation typically, but it's okay if you're staying in your shoes or in your socks, just do what's comfortable for you here. All right, so we're going to take a moment just to check in. See if you can take a hand to your heart, your chest, a hand to your belly, and just breathe into those hands a few times. See if you can make each hand move a little bit as you deepen and lengthen your breath. Just check in, see how you're feeling today in your physical body. What do you notice about your energy? Are you feeling tired? Are you feeling, kind of excited or revved up? And what can you notice about your breath here? Now we're going to do a little bit of a grounding breath next. And this involves the movement of the hands and the arms. Now that movement can be palms up, palms down, just keeping it nice and simple and small. This is a great choice if raising your arms overhead is something that's not great for you right this moment. You could take your movement to a full sweep of the arms, palms face up, and then drop those hands, palms down, back to your thighs. Now you could make this a smaller movement, doesn't have to be all the way overhead. So you got a couple choices right there. All right, so we're going to inhale, palms up, maybe reach up, big breath in. Exhale, slow blow out of the mouth as you turn the palms down and let them rest on your thighs, or you press those palms down through the air until they hit your lap. So let's do that again. Big full inhale. Slow, steady exhale. Let's do 3 more. Feel that ground under your feet. Feel the chair under your hips. One more time. This breath helps us to slow down and bring more awareness into our present circumstances, our body, where we're seated, where we're standing, kind of feeling connected to the earth. All right, now let's warm up a little bit more with some movement before we get into our sun salutations. Let's roll those shoulders a couple of times. Slow it down. Nice big movements. Try to bring those shoulders forward, up, back, and down. Kind of think about 4 points that you're trying to hit as you go around that circle. 3 more times. All right, and then let those shoulders stay a little bit back, a little bit down, sit tall, and turn the head side to side, right and left. Get a little loosening up of the neck going. Now, none of your movements should ever be forced, right? That includes your breath. And any movements we make with the body, you don't have to push. Now, sometimes pushing feels good, right? A little more stretch. Just make that choice wisely. All right, now we're going to take a semicircle with the head. Turn it towards one shoulder. Drop your chin down into that shoulder or collarbone. And then bring it slowly across the chest, all the way to the other side. And then reverse. And bring it back across the chest. And do that a couple more times. You're deciding how far you're going. Pay attention to how it feels in your body. Good. Now bring that head back to the center, chin towards the breastbone. Let that weight of the head just hang there for a moment as you still try to pull your shoulders back and lift your chest. And pick that head up. Good. Come back down to those hands and give the wrists a few circles. We are going to put some weight on our arms, on our hands today in our sun salutation routine. So let's loosen those wrists up. And anytime you need to pause and take a break from being on your hands while we do this sequence, you can stop and circle or make a open and close of the fist a few times and just get some movement going through those joints. All right, now your hands can come all the way together for this next one, or you might prefer to leave them apart. But let's reach those arms up and overhead or as far up as you can go, and then bring them back behind you, squeezing those shoulder blades together. Inhale and reach them forward and up. Exhale, drop them down. They need to be separated for this part. But again, if you want to use 2 hands here, this can be a help if one arm has, a little more trouble going overhead. You could use that other arm to help lift it. 2 more times. All right, now let's move on down to the hips. I want you just to do a little side to side rocking. All right, so we're shifting weight one side then the other, but also try to pull up at your waist. So I'm getting some muscles warmed up here in my side body by lifting that hip and sitting bone up. Now I can add to this a little bit if I want. It's a little bit coordination, right? So as I take it over to the side, I can take it and reach down with that hand as well. Reach down and get a little more scrunch on one side. All right, now if that doesn't feel quite good or right, you don't have to do it. Or if it's hard to coordinate, that's okay. If I'm making you do something that feels a little odd or sort of new or strange in your body, then I'm succeeding, right? This is good for our brains, good for our bodies to do new movements. All right, now bring the hands to the heart, just palms together, sit tall, and we'll do a little twisting. Just turning side to side. Try to keep your hips, your knees steady. We're trying to move, from the rib cage and the waist. All right, Good. And then bring those arms down. You can hold on to one side here as we take just a stretch up and over. Arm can be up and long, or feel free to take that hand to the top of your head for a different shoulder position, or it can stay in front at the heart if you want. One more big breath into that side of your body, rib cage, waist. And then bring it back to center. Take a moment to notice the difference in the two sides. And then take it up and over to the other side. Find that position for the arm, the shoulder that works for you. Lengthen up through the rib cage and the waist with that stretch. Good, and then bring it back to center. All right, let's warm up the legs a little bit, and then we'll be ready for our sun salutation. So let's start with a march. Sit up tall, be pretty stiff in that upper body. You can hold on for more stability, or if you're ready for a little more challenge, try taking those arms out to the side. Now I'm picking up these legs as if they're, being held down on the ground by extra gravity or heavy boots or, tethered to the floor. That way I get a little more work out of my core, out of my hip muscles. Let's go ahead and open those legs up wide. Drop the arms and press those knees towards the center and then push them out wide so we get some rotation going around those hips. All right. And then let's move on down to the knees, one leg at a time, bend and straighten. Again, I'm going to do this with some control. Put my attention, my awareness, my mindfulness into this movement so that I'm pushing and pulling and getting a little more work of those muscles, and I'm noticing that joint. All right, keep that foot forward. If you want to drop it to the foot, if you want to drop the foot to the floor for a little more support, you can, or you can keep it in the air as you point and flex. And then make a few circles with that foot and ankle. Go the other way. All right, other side. Start with that knee, bend and straighten, push and pull. Put your awareness, your mind into this movement, into your body there. Feel the sensations of this action. Good, keep it forward. Again, maybe resting on the floor, point and flex. And circle. Another way. Good, and then release. All right, it's time for sun salutations. We're all warmed up, and sun salutation in and of itself is a good, like I mentioned, all body practice, and it's used by lots of people all over the world as, sort of their morning warm up, their beginning of the day. All right, so I'm going to show you, like I said, 3 different ways to do it. Now, I want to just quickly say, if you want to give it a try on a wall or a countertop, it's going to be pretty similar to what we do here on the chair. You're just not going to fold as far down, right? So instead of folding down to the chair, you will fold into the wall. Okay, as far as you want to go. And then everything else pretty much transpires from there, very similar to how it is on the chair. I'm going to do the first one on the chair. I'll give cues for what you might do if you're on the wall. And then I'm going to do my second one on the floor so that people who might want to do their sun salutations to the ground can do it, can see what that's all about. All right, so make sure your chair is on a sturdy surface. It's not going to slide. It's not going to move. You also have some choices here. Maybe you go to the seat of the chair. Maybe you turn your chair around and you do it to the back of the chair. Okay, so lots of ways that you could approach this. All right, we start by standing up tall, a little bit of distance from the wall of the chair. Inhale and reach up. Exhale, soften those knees, fold forward. Hands can come to the wall, high or low. Hands can come to the chair, or hands could come all the way to the floor. And remember, it's okay for your knees to be bent here. Now we're going to lift back up. So you can push into the wall or push into the chair or push into your own shins and lift into a flat back. Maybe those knees are straight. Maybe they need to stay a little bent. And then let's fold down. Now we're going to step the left foot a little bit forward and the right foot back. All right, you might be on the wall with those hands pressing into the wall. You could be hands down on the chair. If you're doing this on the floor, maybe your fingertips or your hands are on either side of that foot. You can also choose to come hands off, right? Hands can come up off the wall, off the chair, up to your thigh or overhead. One more breath here. All right, and then we release and we bring those hands back down to the floor or the wall or the chair. And then we're stepping back to a downward facing dog. So I'm pushing the hips back. If you've got the wall, it's kind of nice because you can push into the wall with your hands. You're pushing into the floor if you're using that position. One more breath here. You can feel free to wiggle or move a little bit through the knees and through the hips. And then we're coming into plank pose. Now on the wall, you can choose whatever angle you want. You can step the feet further back or closer in and change the angle of your body relative to the floor. Here in the chair, we pretty much have our one position. Down on the floor, you can put your knees down, right? That's a variation you can take if you're doing your sun salutation on the floor. One more breath here. Press it back into downward dog again. Step that right foot forward. If you're on the floor, hands and knees might be a position you want to transition with. I'll show that next round. All right, so strong legs, optional to take those arms up. Feel free to keep them on your chair or keep them on your wall if you want. All right, and then we fold back into the chair or the wall, step back in, flat back, that same thing we did before at the beginning, and then fold to soften and just let yourself drop a little bit down or forward. And now everyone sits back into those heels, chair pose, like you're sitting in an imaginary chair. The arms can come out or they can even go overhead. Maybe you want to keep them at the heart. And then let's rise all the way up tall and bring the hands to the heart. Pause, take a breath here. All right, now you might have what you need or what you want to do, so stick with the chair or stick with the wall if that's what you're using. I'm going to do the second one to the floor just so that there's a visual for that. All right, second sun salutation. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, fold down. If you are going to the floor, chances are good you're going to need to bend your knees a little bit more to get your feet down to the ground. Your hands down to the ground. Let's lift up on that inhale, flat back, hands drag up the shins or press into the chair or the wall. Fold it back down. Good. Now we're going to step back with the left foot. Right foot might need to step forward a little bit. Again, fingertips, hands can stay on the wall, stay on the chair, stay on the floor. You can walk those hands up to that front thigh or take them overhead. One more breath here. Good, and then we come back down, we go to downward dog. Now you can go straight to downward dog if you're on the floor, or you can go to hands and knees first, and then press those hips up and back. So press into the arms, into your chair or the wall or the floor. Push those hips up and back. Remember, you could make a little bit of movement here if you wanted. Shift forward into plank. So again, you choose the angle. If you're on the wall, you walk your feet back. You walk your hands down. If you're on the floor, you might put your knees down. Good strong push through those arms regardless. One more breath. And then push the hips back. And then you're going to step that left foot forward. So again, from the floor, maybe you come into hands and knees. It's going to help you get that left foot forward between your hands. That's up to you if you want to make that transition. Arms coming up and overhead is also an option. And then folding back down, stepping that back leg in, the front leg back. We're back to that fold. Flat back on an inhale, lift up. And then fold again. Sit back into the hips. Come into chair pose. Find that position you want for the arms. Rise all the way up tall. And then hands to the heart. Pause, take a breath. Now, we've done 2. We've got time to do 2 more. If you want to sit down and take a break, however, that's completely your choice. One of the benefits of doing this practice with us from home is that you can really, do what you need to do without disturbing anyone else, right? Now, I'm going to show this next one on the wall, okay, so that we have all 3 represented in this class segment. All right, third sun salutation. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, fold. So I can take it as far down the wall as I want. And then lift back up a little bit, flat back. And then fold. And then let's step the left foot forward, right foot back. Remember, you can do this at the hands on the floor, or you can bring the hands up, off the floor, or out of the chair, or off the wall. All right, hands back down to your surface. We're pressing back to downward facing dog. On the wall, downward dog looks kind of like a right angle or an L shape to the body, right? But it's okay if you're at a little bit higher angle. The hands could be up higher. That's perfectly fine as well. Now we shift into plank. So here at the wall, I basically just bring those hips in. If that feels like too much, I might walk the feet forward. If I feel like I want a little more challenge, I could walk the feet back. Nice strong push. Good. Let the hips press back towards downward dog and step that other foot forward. Remember your hands and knees transition. That's possible when you're on the floor. Option to take those arms up. Good, and then bring the hands back down, step it back in, flat back, lift, and then fold. Shift that weight back into your heels, come up to chair pose. And then rise all the way up. Hands to the heart. Take a pause, check in. All right, so as promised, we've got time for 1 more. So maybe you rested and you're ready to do 1 more. This little video, you can access these mindful movement practices after the live show. You can find them on our YouTube channel. You can find them on our Facebook page, AARP of Alabama. So if you find that you like this little routine, you want to start doing it more frequently, you can just review that. You can see the chair version, the floor version, or the wall version, and pick one of them and give it a go on your own. All right, last round. I'm going to do it to the chair again. Finish where I started. Inhale and reach up. Exhale and fold forward. Lift up. And fold. Good. Let's take the right foot forward first this time. I try to switch up which leg I do first. Again, maybe come out of the chair. It's okay to stay hands there. That's why we use the chair, so that it can give us some support. And then release it. Step it back into downward facing dog. Pushing back. We're trying to deepen that fold here at the top of the thighs, whichever position you're taking. Just see what that feels like. Lengthening out, flattening as much as possible through the spine. Shift forward into plank pose next. Push firmly through those arms. Okay, and then push back to that downward dog to transition. Bring the left foot forward. Again, your choice about coming out of the chair or not. Good, and release. We'll step in, find that flat back lift, and then fold it down. Sit back into chair pose. Last time through this chair posture. Bring those arms up. Inhale, reach up. Hands to the heart. Excuse me. Take a little pause here. Just standing, noticing how things feel in your body. Noticing if your energy has shifted a bit from that work. I certainly feel a little bit warmer in my on my skin here. And I feel some effects from putting some weight on my wrists. So my hands, I might want to circle them a little bit or give those hands a little bit of movement. All right, let's come back to seated in the chair. You could also, be standing for part of this, but seated is gonna help us do some stretches for the hips. All right, sit tall. Let's stretch one arm across the chest, using that other hand to give it a little help, a little pull. Think about dropping that shoulder away from the ear and then tilting the head away from the shoulder. Take a few breaths. See if you can just watch as maybe your heart rate, your breathing rate, your temperature all start to settle down. Observing those physiologic responses in your body is a great practice of mindfulness and beneficial for your nervous system's, perception of the body. Let's take that other arm across the chest. Sink that shoulder away from the ear, tilt the head away from that shoulder. Good. Release, bring that head up, bring that arm down, shake it out, and give those shoulders a few rolls. All right, one leg forward, toes up, heel down, right? Sit nice and tall and maybe lean into it. It'll depend on, how much mobility, flexibility you have in your hamstrings, whether you need to lean very far or not. All right, bring it up. That same leg that you just had out in front, let's cross it. It could cross to your thigh right there at your knee, or you could extend that bottom leg a little bit, cross the ankle at your shin, or a little lower down. So see where it feels right for your hip. Sit tall, maybe that's plenty, or maybe there's room to lean forward into it just a little bit. Good. And then release. Uncross that leg, stretch that other foot forward, heel down, toes up. Maybe give it a little lean in there. Good, and release and bring it up. Same leg, cross. Maybe cross to that shin. We're gonna just get that knee and thigh turned out. So we'll get a little stretch in our hip. Bring it higher if that works for you. Sit tall. So on this side, I'm tighter, so I don't have as much room to lean forward. I just sit up tall and I feel plenty of stretch. A couple breaths here. All right, and release it. All right, now maybe scoot back a little bit in your chair. Just get as supported and as comfortable as you can. We're going to return to our grounding breath, except we're all going to do it this time with that softer, smaller movement of the hands. So as you inhale, let your hands face palm up on your thighs. Take a nice slow breath in. Exhale out of the mouth. Slow, turn the palms down onto the thighs. Let them sink and get heavy. Inhale, turn the palms up. Exhale, turn the palms down. 3 more breaths. Each one a little slower, a little longer than the last. One more breath. You can just let the hands stay there on the thighs. Maybe close the eyes. Take just another few breaths without any of that intentional work with it. Just let it be a natural breath. Check in this moment with your body. How are you feeling in your body? What that sense of mutation bring to your awareness? All right, you can open those eyes, lift the hands to the heart in a gesture of gratitude and thanks. And big thanks to AARP of Alabama for giving us this opportunity to practice our mindful movement together on Tuesdays. And we hope, like I mentioned, that you'll access some of the recordings on our YouTube and our Facebook channels whenever you need them. Join us next week for more mindful movement on Tuesdays at 10 a.m.
Thank you very much, Becca. What an extensive session this morning. Very comprehensive. Thank you for all of that. That feels really good. Everyone, we want you to look for an email coming to you so that you can give us some feedback about what you think about our program. We'd love to know what you think about us. And we do appreciate you tuning in with us on Tuesday mornings. Thanks so much. And we will see you next Tuesday on another Tuesday. Bye.
Bye.